Here's a truth that might ruffle some feathers. While music fans endlessly debate American and British rock supremacy, they're completely sleeping on the nation that arguably birthed some of the genre's most innovative sounds. Canada doesn't just deserve a seat at the classic rock table. It practically built the damn thing. Yet somehow, when conversations turn to the foundational tracks that shaped mainstream rock, our northern neighbors get criminally overlooked. This oversight isn't just unfair. It's musically ignorant. But here's where it gets controversial. I'd argue that 3 specific Canadian tracks didn't just contribute to classic rock's evolution. They fundamentally altered its DNA. These songs didn't follow trends. They created them. And if you think that's an overstatement, stick around, because what I'm about to share might completely reshape how you view rock history. Let's dive into 3 Canadian masterpieces that prove the Great White North was never just riding America's musical coattails. Rush's Tom Sawyer, the progressive revolution that went mainstream, 1981. Emerging from Toronto's vibrant late 1960s music scene, Rush accomplished something most progressive rock bands could only dream of. They made complex, cerebral music that actual humans wanted to hear on repeat. Their 1981 masterpiece, Tom Sawyer, from the album Moving Pictures, stands as perhaps the perfect example of this seemingly impossible balance. What makes this track genuinely revolutionary isn't just Neil Peart's thunderous drum work or Geddy Lee's distinctive vocals. It's how the band managed to package sophisticated musical arrangements into something that felt effortlessly accessible. The song's driving rhythm and memorable hooks masked its technical complexity so well that it became a stadium anthem, a road trip staple, and a rock radio cornerstone all at once. But here's what most people miss. Tom Sawyer essentially proved that mainstream audiences were far more intelligent than record executives believed. The track's success opened doors for countless progressive acts who'd been told their music was too smart for radio. Rush didn't dumb down their sound. They elevated their audience's expectations. Joni Mitchell's Coyote, poetry disguised as rock, 1977, born in Alberta in 1943. Joni Mitchell represents something the rock world desperately needed but rarely acknowledged: literary sophistication that didn't sacrifice emotional authenticity. Her 1977 composition Coyote, from the album Hajira, exemplifies this rare combination, weaving together complex narrative storytelling with haunting musical landscapes. What sets Mitchell apart, and this might spark some heated discussions, is her refusal to simplify human relationships for the sake of radio-friendly messaging. Coyote explores the intricate dance between predator and prey in romantic encounters, using metaphorical language that rewards careful listening, while remaining viscerally compelling on first hearing. Mitchell's approach challenged rock music's often juvenile treatment of relationships and sexuality. Her precise, almost surgical delivery of deeply personal lyrics created a template for emotional honesty that influenced everyone from Prince to Taylor Swift. She proved that rock music could be intellectually demanding without being pretentious, a lesson many contemporary artists still struggle to learn. Neil Young's Cowgirl in the Sand, the bridge between folk and grunge, 1969. Toronto-born Neil Young, now 79, achieved something remarkable with Cowgirl in the Sand. From his 1969 album Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere, he created a sonic bridge between Bob Dylan's folk poetry and the heavy guitar textures that would later define grunge music. This track showcases Young's genius for combining seemingly contradictory elements, his high, vulnerable falsetto floating over aggressive, distorted guitar work. The result feels both intimate and epic, accessible yet experimental. Young's approach to guitar tone and feedback on this track directly influenced countless musicians, from Sonic Youth to Pearl Jam's Eddie Vedder. And this is the part most people miss. Young's willingness to let his guitar sound ugly or imperfect was revolutionary in an era obsessed with pristine studio production. He proved that emotional authenticity often trumps technical perfection, a philosophy that would become central to alternative rock decades later. The uncomfortable truth about Canadian rock's impact. Here's where things get really controversial. These three tracks didn't just contribute to classic rock. They arguably saved it from becoming a stagnant, predictable genre. While American and British bands often played it safe with established formulas, Canadian artists consistently pushed boundaries, challenged assumptions, and refused to color within the lines. But let me ask you this. Why do we still treat Canadian contributions as footnotes rather than headline stories? Is it cultural bias? Geographic snobbery? Or are we simply uncomfortable acknowledging that some of rock's most innovative moments came from artists who weren't trying to conquer the world? They were just trying to express something true. These three songs represent more than just great music. They embody a distinctly Canadian approach to creativity that values substance over flash, authenticity over marketability. They prove that the most lasting contributions to rock music often come from artists who refuse to compromise their vision for commercial success. What do you think? Are we giving Canadian classic rock the respect it deserves, or have decades of American and British dominance created blind spots we're still too proud to acknowledge? And more importantly, which Canadian rock track do you think deserves to be on this list that I completely missed? Let's settle this debate in the comments.